He cannot look like trash. He cannot go out there and complete 25% of his passes. He cannot look lost and completely discombobulated, and we're not going to throw out excuses about him.
Anybody that is sitting here going, his future hangs in balance, even in Cleveland in this week, that's a ridiculous thing to say.
Somebody is put out there and looks completely lost from the quarterback position, who is a QB2. What am I to make of that? What are we to make of that? Could you educate us about that? Because I don't know anywhere else to go. I've seen bad play. Yeah. I've seen bad quarterbacks.
The pressure is mounting. The spotlight is burning. And Shedeur Sanders, he's standing right in the middle of it all, about to face the most important 60 minutes of his young NFL career. Sunday in Las Vegas against the Raiders isn't just another game. It's not just another opportunity to show what he can do. This is Judgment Day. This is where reputations are made or destroyed. And if you believe the analysts, the executives, and the talking heads who run this league, Shedeur's entire future with the Cleveland Browns hangs in the balance. Like if you love Shedeur. Comment SS Rocks if you want him to win.
Place where collectively they are doing everything that they can to ensure his success. Dio, I know your position on this, and I know you're diametrically opposed to what I'm saying. Respectfully, I don't give a damn.
Let's be crystal clear about what's happening here. Shedeur Sanders, the kid who was supposed to be a first-round talent, the quarterback who lit up college football, the son of a legend who carries both a famous last name and all the baggage that comes with it, is about to get his first real shot. His first start, his first chance to prove that the doubters were wrong, that the critics who watched him go in the 5th round were blind, and that he belongs in this league. But here's where it gets complicated. Here's where the fairy tale takes a dark turn, because Shedeur isn't walking into an ideal situation, not even close.
The Browns is a house divided, where whether it's the offensive coordinator and the head coach having a different view than the GM and the owner or whatever it is, I don't know what the hell is going on.
This is Kevin Stefanski's 13th starting quarterback since he arrived in Cleveland in 2020. A coach who's won Coach of the Year twice, a guy who's supposed to be one of the brightest offensive minds in football, and he's burning through quarterbacks like they're disposable. Dillon Gabriel was the latest casualty, knocked out with a concussion, and now Shedeur gets thrust into the fire. But was he ready? That's the million-dollar question that's tearing apart sports media right now.
I don't believe he was put in a position to succeed the other day. I don't believe he's been put in a position to succeed with the Cleveland Browns.
When Shedeur came in last Sunday against Baltimore, after Dillon Gabriel went down, it was ugly. 4 completions on 16 attempts. 47 yards, a passer rating of 13.5. Those aren't just bad numbers, they're historically awful. The kind of performance that gets memed, that gets replayed on every highlight show as a cautionary tale, that makes scouts and GMs wonder if they were right to pass on him in the draft. But here's what Stephen A. Smith and others are screaming from the rooftops. Was it really Shedeur's fault? This is where things get interesting. Because if you listen to the debate, if you peel back the layers of what actually happened, you start to see a different picture. Shedeur Sanders didn't get first-team reps. He wasn't prepared. He was thrown into a game against one of the best defenses in football with zero chemistry, zero rhythm, and zero support.
You have a coach in Kevin Stefanski who is a 2-time Coach of the Year. This man knows what he's doing. I respect the hell out of Kevin Stefanski. There is no way that you could send a quarterback out there looking that damn lost, not having any cadence, any reps whatsoever.
That's the accusation hanging in the air. That's the shadow over this entire situation. Did Cleveland set Shedeur up to fail? And if they did, was it intentional? Now, before you think this is some conspiracy theory, some wild accusation without merit, pump the brakes. Stephen A. isn't alone in feeling this way. Ryan Clark, who's been in NFL locker rooms and knows how this business operates, echoed similar concerns. The way Shedeur was handled, the lack of preparation, the radio silence from Stefanski about even mentioning his name in press conferences for weeks, it all adds up to something that smells rotten.
This is the same coach that was not saying his name in the media for a substantial amount of time, too.
Shedeur was a 5th-round pick. 5th round. That's not first-round treatment. That's not guaranteed starter money. That's not we're building the franchise around you status. When you're drafted in the 5th round, you get treated like a 5th rounder. You don't get the practice reps. You don't get the game plan designed around your strengths. You're insurance. You're a backup. And backups, they get thrown into the fire and expected to survive.
About reps and not getting rep.
That's the harsh reality of the NFL. It's not fair. It's not just. But that's how the machine operates. So now Shedeur gets his shot. A full week of first-team reps, a chance to actually prepare, to build chemistry, to run the plays with the guys who'll be on the field with him. Sunday in Las Vegas should be different. It has to be different. But the pressure? Oh man, the pressure is suffocating because everyone's watching, everyone's got an opinion, and everyone's ready to pass judgment based on one game, one performance, one opportunity to prove he belongs. The Raiders' defense isn't the Baltimore Ravens. This isn't the same caliber of opponent. Las Vegas has been inconsistent, beatable, vulnerable. If there was ever a time for Shedeur to show what he can do, this is it. But even that comes with a caveat. Because if he struggles against a mediocre defense, if he looks lost against a team the Browns should compete with, then what does that say? The debate raging across NFL media right now centers on one fundamental question. What does Shedeur need to do to keep his job? The Browns' offense is terrible. The skill position players are bottom tier. Jerry Jeudy is checked out, literally giving 7-word answers at press conferences like he's already mentally quit on this team. The offensive line has been inconsistent. The running game has not been a threat. This isn't some loaded roster where a quarterback can just step in and thrive.
Think fair, right? I'm saying that is the fair thing to think. And I'm telling you this from a dude that wasn't drafted. I knew that when I got my shot, it didn't matter what was going on around me, that my film had to be hot.
And that's the crux of it. When you're trying to prove yourself, when you're fighting for your career, when you're a 5th-round pick that everyone doubted, you don't get the luxury of context. You don't get to say, well, the receivers weren't open, or the line didn't protect me, or I didn't get enough reps. You just have to perform. You have to make it happen. You have to show on film that you're too good to ignore. The stakes couldn't be clearer. If Shedeur goes out there and completes 25% of his passes again, if he looks as lost and discombobulated as he did against Baltimore, if he can't command the offense or make the basic throws that Dillon Gabriel was making, it's over. His time in Cleveland is done. Maybe not officially, maybe not immediately, but the writing will be on the wall. Dillon Gabriel is coming out of concussion protocol. The door is wide open for Stefanski to go back to his original starter if Shedeur doesn't deliver. And once you lose that starting job, especially under these circumstances, it's almost impossible to get it back. But there's another layer to this that can't be ignored. The politics, the perception, the narrative. Shedeur Sanders isn't just any 5th-round pick. He's Deion Sanders' son. He's a Heisman finalist. He's a guy who was projected by many to go in the 1st or 2nd round. The fact that he fell to the 5th round was already controversial, already raised eyebrows, already suggested that something else was at play beyond just talent evaluation. Was it the lights? Was it the baggage of having a famous father? Was it concerns about his attitude or his ability to handle adversity? Nobody knows for sure, but the NFL is a league that loves to be proven right. And if Shedeur fails, there will be plenty of executives and scouts and talking heads who will say, "See, we told you so." That's why he lasted in the 5th round.
Myself on Front Street, I'm certainly going to give him the benefit of the doubt because I've known his daddy for years who's been an NBA executive. I've known his daddy more than 25 years.
Even Stephen A., who's known the Sanders family for decades, who's rooting for Shedeur to succeed, understands how this looks from the outside. He knows that perception matters. He knows that in this business, in this league, how things appear can be just as important as what's actually happening. And right now, it doesn't look good. The Cleveland Browns have given every indication that they're not fully invested in Shedeur's success. The lack of reps, the way he was thrown into the Baltimore game unprepared, the fact that Stefanski immediately said Dillon Gabriel was still the starter after that disaster, none of it screams, we believe in this kid. So what happens Sunday? What happens when Shedeur takes the field in Vegas, when he drops back for that first pass, when the entire football world is watching to see if he can deliver? He needs to be smart. He needs to be decisive. He needs to take care of the football and make the routine plays. Nobody's expecting him to throw for 400 yards. Nobody's expecting him to replicate Cam Newton's legendary debut against Arizona, but he has to show that he belongs. He has to show poise, command, and competence.
He has to go out and do all the little things that no matter what people say about Dillon Gabriel, he was able to do. Get it out of his hands, be quick with his reads.
That's the baseline. That's the standard. If Shedeur can do what Dillon Gabriel did, manage the game, make the short throws, avoid turnovers, then maybe he survives. Maybe he gets another week. Maybe the Browns give him a longer look. But if he wants to truly seize this opportunity, if he wants to make this his team, he needs to do more. He needs to take the chances that Dillon Gabriel wouldn't take. He needs to push the ball down the field. He needs to make the throws that show that he's not just a game manager, but a potential franchise quarterback. And that's the tightrope he's walking. Play it too safe, and he's just another backup. Take too many risks, and he could implode. The Raiders game is everything. It's his audition, his trial, his moment of truth. And depending on how it goes, we could be looking at the beginning of a promising NFL career or the end of a brief, disappointing chapter. One thing's for certain, Sunday in Las Vegas, Shedeur Sanders will show us who he really is. The lights will be bright, the stage will be set, and the football world will be watching to see if the kid from Colorado, the son of primetime, the fifth-round pick who everyone said should have gone higher, if he's got what it takes to make it in this league. The countdown is on. The pressure is real. And for Shedeur Sanders, there's no tomorrow if today doesn't go right. This is make or break. This is do or die. This is everything. Let's see what he's made of.